Greg, thank you for that presentation. It was great. Once again, if you have questions for Greg, leave them on the YouTube stream comments, and we will ask the top 5 questions at the end of the presentation. But that will be towards the end of the hour, and we still have about 30 more minutes to go. But Greg, thank you for the kind words on Xend Finance. Of course, one thing that we're very proud of is that we are constantly releasing product. I know there's a lot of projects out there who announce meaningless partnerships all the time, but aren't actually releasing any kind of build any products that you can actually use. So one thing that we've been very proud of is that we've put our head down and kind of constantly released. We have over 20 developers working with us right now, so we are very proud of that fact. But also congratulations on all the growth that you've seen. It's really great to see, and just kind of seeing what DeFi Direct is going to mean in the future. I mean, it's very exciting.
Yeah, and definitely it's just a quick tangent here. Like I even have a list here in some of my speaking notes of just some of the things you guys have put out. And it's just like you have the X Vault coming, the auto yield aggregator, two multiple mobile apps, and just tons of stuff, right? You have this idea of the layer 2 D app coming out. And these are just to name a few. Like I have an entire laundry list here of updates, which is exactly what DeFi projects need to be doing, having these constant releases coming out and innovating on their products.
Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. That's so good. Daniel's back with us. Daniel, how is your connection? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I think it's much more better now.
Okay, sounds good. So I will let you take over, and you can kind of start off where you wanted to, or if you wanted to start back over, up to you. And let me know when you are finished, and we will start doing the Q&A.
Okay, cool. Since the network actually is always fluctuating, so I'll just get right to it and hope we can I can say one or two things before it's finished. So I'll be agreeing with what Greg said. The Africa space has actually crypto space have actually boomed, and I'll just be putting out words to other DeFi projects that also intend to come into the Africa space. The main thing about this area or this continent is the fact that it is still fresh, or let's say there's a lot of area you can invest in. Vast area, like we have the population, we have people that are interested, people with the financial capability to help this DeFi project actually grow in Africa. So the main thing is where there is issue is integrating them, making sure they understand what they're investing to. Because I don't believe there's anybody that wants to invest in a project they don't understand. And that's where most individuals in Africa actually have issue with understanding the project and deciding, okay, it's worth the time and wanting to participate. So any DeFi projects that want to enter the African space, my main recommendation would be for them to ensure they are very transparent and they carry the people along easily. They carry them along with easy words that they can understand. They don't leave them on many of the blockchain terms or terminology they're not used to. So once they feel they're incorporated, once they feel they understand it, definitely that will be the next phase. You see more people will come. The print area is also another area where like people still read paper in this aspect of the world. So if you carry them along also, and the media is also able to break it down to their understanding, then DeFi project will be able to get more coverage. They'll be able to get to more people, and they'll be able to put their projects out with more participation from the area. So why African space right now is booming, I'll actually encourage more DeFi platforms to actually look to establishing their platforms here, because many people with the rate of the African currency, the way it is falling like Nigerian currency as well, the way it's falling every day against the US dollars, many people are actually looking for areas or other places to invest in. So if we're able to explain and let them know that DeFi is actually is actually decentralized finance is actually a way to help them or push their project upward. It will be able to help them understand. It will be able to help them understand and get them to invest in these projects, and this will also help the African blockchain space, even the blockchain space as a whole. So on that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Daniel, thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's good to hear. So right now, I'd suggest that, you know, us three, we can just have a little bit of a conversation for a bit before we get the questions from the viewers and the streamers. But I'm curious as to how you got into journalism in the crypto space. What was the first thing? When did you first get into blockchain crypto, and what was it about it that interests you?
Okay, that's I actually studied journalism. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism. So, but the crypto space came. My first interest in digital currency was that should be in 2016. So I took time. I took time to want to understand. Like, then I sat down to understand the origin of Bitcoin and see how this could actually benefit the space. It was not as common as it is now, because now everybody is actually familiar with terms like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins. But then after studying it, I felt it was intriguing. Like, then I wanted to know. So it was that drive that actually pushed me. Then I started to understand. I started to research into other digital assets, and in time I actually grew interest. Currently, like I'm actually educating secondary school students in Nigeria on blockchain technology, on how decentralized finance can assist financial flow in Nigeria. For now, I'm sticking to Nigeria before and to see how the response is before taking it more to probably West Africa or other African countries. But then I've understood that when you teach the young ones and they are understanding decentralized finance and blockchain technology from their little age. These are people in junior secondary school and senior secondary school. You see, they are actually interested and they want to know more. And with that interest, they are sharing with friends. And with that again, blockchain technology and decentralized finance is actually growing. It's actually growing in Nigeria, and it's actually going among people, because when they ask questions, other people are actually interested, and it keeps going that way and it keeps growing. So since I got into crypto in 2016 and I started working with altcoin boards, there's been no reason to regret that decision. Until now, I'm more focused on getting more people to adopt and see the way digital currency and blockchain and decentralized finance can actually benefit them.
Yeah, no, that's great. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, so I'm fairly new to the crypto space as a whole. I did dabble a little bit in 2017, 2018, but it wasn't really, I was pretty young at the time. I was like 16 or 17 in 2017, 2018. So it was a lot more just watching what was going on and being upset with myself. I was like, why is this Litecoin trading at $20 and now it's trading at 50? Months later, like, what have I been doing trying to mess around with other things? So I knew what crypto was, and I just always had sort of like an inclination towards financial markets. Traditional equities was kind of where I was spending a lot of my time. And when COVID hit, I just had a lot more free time and really just started digging into things, and just came about the thesis of cycles and everything. And I was like, oh wait, this really seems like it's picking up, it's happening again. Let me start spending time. And that's when I like stumbled across DeFi in August. So I started using loose Ethereum protocols, learning about things like Uniswap, Compound, Aave, Cream Finance, and really just got my ear to the ground in DeFi. And that's where I just hit the ground running and have really found like the most success in this space. And from there, I ended up getting destroyed on Ethereum because it wasn't very user friendly. And I think this is like something that Daniel's trying to get at as well. Like, this space is extremely volatile. There's certain aspects of this space where someone who's looking to put their savings in and actually save a chunk of money, there's very volatile places where you can see some of these altcoins like move tons of percentages. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there are other use cases, such as just holding things such like USDT and USDC can provide a really good way to get exposure to a stronger currency like the dollar. But to get back on track there, I didn't have the most success right when I started out on Ethereum. And then I found the Binance Smart Chain and started understanding a lot more of the mechanics that were going on under the hood of these projects, and also realized that no one was reporting on DeFi. I was on Twitter finding all of these releases myself, just seeing it come from the horse's mouth. I didn't necessarily have any journalism experience. I will say I was blessed. I've grown up in California and had like amazing resources to education. And I just have learned journalism over the past year, reached out to some resources, actual journalists, and kind of got advisors on board. And since then, just been running with journalism and having an amazing time documenting the space of DeFi and really how everything is growing. And just like the entire space, like this last year has been a blitz of just innovation going on in the space. So that's kind of how I've gotten started. And it's also a testament how a lot of these things are very new. It just takes a little bit of time to learn it and actually understand what's going on to get into the space. But once you're in, it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I actually do have a background in journalism. I'm from California as well. I went to college down in UC San Diego, and from there I was a small town television reporter. I went to Idaho, went to Redding, Chico, then I went to Columbus, Ohio. So seeing what you've done with BSC News in such a short amount of time is phenomenal. I mean, the growth that you've seen, does it surprise you when you look back and you're like, I can't believe that we're growing at such a clip, or does it not surprise you? I mean, did you expect this all along? I mean, how did you get to now having this brand, this entire brand and this suite of website news sites?
Yeah, and it really started as something that was a fun way to spend my time that I was researching anyway. I was spending hours on these protocols, and I just kind of got thrown into this Telegram group right when I started getting involved in the space. And like the short answer is I never expected it to be this big, but there was a certain kind of moment where I was like, okay, this is an incredible industry, what's going on. And we're solving an issue, kind of bridging this information asymmetry there was. And that's when it really turned. I still remember like one of the bigger turning points is when we crossed 10,000 followers. I was still living with my parents at the time. And that was when I was like, okay, people are actually consuming our content. I didn't think it would build from there. And like, that was only the beginning. Since then, it's been exponential. I think another thing to state though, is while it wasn't really expected at the time, looking back in hindsight, of course, how everything aligned with the cycles and the hype of the market definitely played a massive role. And who knows how long the markets are going to keep running this hot. I mean, it looks like we're still in the mid to near term future. Like everything is looking great for the space, but there will be bumps and lulls. It just ended up almost right place, right time, building kind of at the proliferation of DeFi, accelerated all of like, not even just BSC News' success, but everyone in the ecosystem's success. So that's been massive.
Yeah, no, that's really great to see. So Daniel, I wanted to ask you because I know that Nigeria Tribune is one of the most is the oldest news outlet in Nigeria, as well as being a print outlet. So can I ask, how is it when you want to introduce, and a little bit of background is Nigerian Tribune did a feature story about our CEO Ugo, and it was very exciting, obviously, because most of the time when we've done interviews, it's been to TechCrunch or CoinDesk or some of these outlets that are strictly online. But how has it been working for a traditional news outlet and covering the blockchain crypto space? I mean, do you have to fight with your editor sometime on whether this story can make it on? And also, how open are they to telling a crypto blockchain story? Because I know that there are some government regulations regarding cryptocurrency. Daniel, your microphone, I think, is on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. That's
You're welcome.
That's the issue with traditional news house. Nigerian Tribune is over 75 years now. So when you come to them with blockchain news, and it's actually a challenge I'm still currently facing, because many times they question it, they are not used to it. And so when I come to my editor, I want to pursue this story in blockchain, I want to do this. He's like, first of all, who are your readers? Do you have readers? Do you have people that are interested in this content? So first thing before I do a story, I have to convince my editor that, okay, there are people that are actually interested in blockchain. There are people interested in decentralized finance. There are people interested in cryptocurrency. Then he started, okay, then cryptocurrency, is it this? Is it another medium of, so they are old, I won't say they are old, but they are, you understand what I'm trying to say? They are just, they're not used to the new, so they question those kind of, those move or those decisions to do a project on blockchain or on decentralized finance or on cryptocurrency. But currently, there are one thing, like the blockchain space or the cryptocurrency space in general has caught many people attention. So it's getting easier to do a project in or to write a feature story on cryptocurrency. When I was to do the interview with Xend Finance CEO, after speaking to them about it, they were actually interested because they felt it's a new frontier, and many people are interested. Many people are looking towards, like, many people want information in that area. So it's actually getting easier now, covering cryptocurrency, covering blockchain technology in traditional news house, and more people are actually interested, because when an establishment like Nigerian Tribune is pushing out content on decentralized finance, when they're pushing out content on digital currency, now more people are actually interested to see, okay, what exactly are they talking about? And especially more older folks, because I was looking at a survey and noticed that most people interested in decentralized finance or interested in blockchain are actually under 40s. So the older folks are actually now where that's the print is able to get to them more than online media platforms. So this is actually another area I'm looking to developing, trying to get more blockchain technology and win more of the older folks to actually get their attention and get their interest in looking into decentralized finance as a way of also regulate investing and as a way of adopting blockchain technology and digital currency. So why it was a struggle when I started, right now things are actually warming up, and now I even receive people who are more interested, or startup projects who send mails and they're interested, like they like to be featured. They would like to get their project out also on print. And so, and even the older folks, the editors, they're actually more interested in, they're actually more warmed up to the idea of giving out pages for blockchain news and decentralized finance. So things are actually looking up, and the adoption rate and the boost in the whole continent right now is making it a good time to be on a good time to be supporting blockchain. Thank you.
No, that's good to hear. So that segues real quick into, let me ask you, before we start the Q&A, I want to ask you both. So what are some tips for entrepreneurs out there to get your attention on what a good story is, or to pique your interest, to open their email to say, hey, you know, this might be an interesting company to cover? What are some tips for them?
Okay, I'd like to go first. So the main thing I would say to get attention of the media, or to get my attention in particular, is uniqueness. Because while the space is actually booming, on average, I get up to 10 emails a day, ask for project. But when you check them, you see most of them, sometimes it might be the same thing. Maybe it's an NFT project. Then usually when it's unique and it's caught your attention and it's a standard project from the rest that you've been getting, then you won't have a choice, but you will actually like to post or post or write a write-up on that profile. So one thing I would just like to say is, if you're trying to get the attention of the media, the best way to go about it is to make your project unique or make it stand out, something catchy that you will like. Okay, the media will actually like to push or like to feed to their readers, to the content, because the main thing is is still at the end is for the media is getting content out to your readers. So when you see you see a protocol, you get an email from a protocol and you check it and you see it's actually unique and standard, you will actually be interested in giving it and pushing out to your readers to read. So actually, my advice to DeFi projects would be to make sure their projects are actually unique and has something catchy or something that the readers will actually be interested in. Thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think Daniel hit that right on the head of the nail there, because what really matters is the project unique? Does it have some sort of sustainability that it's worthwhile reporting? I can guarantee when Daniel sees the 8th dog coin, there's no way he's going on and covering that story. But if you see something unique where there's a product that is super simple, it's explained well for the beginner, and isn't just another copy paste of another project, that's really what we're looking for. Are you building something innovative, kind of stepping into the space, doing something different, and not only different, but providing a service to a certain amount or to a specific amount of users? And I think that's what it comes down to for kind of getting a good written story on you that's going to get media attention.
Thank you for that insight. So let's go into the Q&A. The first question comes from a YouTube username of Sem, C-E-M. What are the ways to build a strong community, like Shibarmy, for example? I'm actually not sure what Shibarmy is. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but what are the ways to build a strong community?
Yeah, I'll jump in here just because that might be a little more up my alley. I'm not 100% what Shibarmy is either, but it just sounds like another dog token, kind of going against what I was saying. But in the sense of, I know what you're talking about, building a community where everyone is excited for the project. I think what these projects do is they at least make what they're doing very simple. They try to avoid a lot of the complex DeFi mechanisms like staking and liquidity positions. But overall, I would say building a strong community is more so doing or making it easy for the users. So seeing things like having hackathons, having things where the projects are also providing documentation for the community. It's not just here, look, figure this out, but having actual resources, and then just being active on socials. You're never going to grow a community without really getting in there and engaging with the users, no matter what the problem is. If someone is having issues logging into their MetaMask, that's what builds a community and really proliferates those things, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's very true. In fact, one thing I remember, we had a news outlet who wrote about us, and they put the post out on their Twitter, but they didn't tag us. And I looked at their other Twitter, and they didn't tag any of the companies or any people. And I just sent a simple email to them, and I said, hey, if you tag us, it's really good, because then it makes it much easier for me to share this. And, just doing that just exposes you to different audience. Not every time will somebody share something, but at the same time, it's very reciprocal. They share, you share, it actually works out well, and it increases engagement. Daniel, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
Yeah, I do agree with Greg. To build a functional or a very active community, you keep active. You try to, because one thing I know is, when you put out a project, you get people who are involved. So, but when you stay inactive for a while, you notice people start. But when you start leaving, or another project will catch their attention. So the best thing is make sure your community, even if you're starting with 10 active users, you go from the 10. When so far your community is active and you keep dishing out things every time, in time you notice it keeps going. But when you post out, maybe in a month you post, you have one, maybe a hackathon or something that you are actively doing in the month and nothing else, it's not going to, you keep losing interest of your community. But just keep active and have projects that are user friendly, and also, as I keep emphasizing, that easy to understand projects. That way, your community will keep going. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So okay. So I know we have a hard stop in about 5 more minutes, so we'll try to be brief on these questions. But question 2 from YouTube name of Ini, INI. What are the major ways to engage a community as in terms of initial adoption before product launch? And I'll repeat that question again. What are the major ways to engage a community as in terms of initial adoption before product launch?
Yeah, and I might be repeating myself, and I'll answer this from both sides. If you're talking about from the side of the project, I would say it just comes down to providing the proper documentation. I see a lot of things where projects will wait to do this, but I personally, if I'm going and looking at a project and I can't find any tokenomics, even just about the team, any of these basic things, that's going to be really hard to have faith in a product. So I think building out sound documentation. And then if you're coming from the other side of the user, just engaging in the community, talking to the developers, to the team, that's a great way to get involved in the space. Just to keep that one a bit brief.
Thank you very much. To add to what Greg has said, just make sure your project or your protocol is actually transparent. Once it's transparent, you'll notice people will actually be interested. Make sure it's transparent, explain it. Don't use difficult terminologies, explain it well to people, and I assure you, it will be off to the right start. The major key to any new project is always transparency, because with that, you'll be able to develop trust for anybody who wants to participate, or anybody who wants to invest, or anybody who wants to join. So once it's transparent, they'll be able to join. Then with that, just build on that. Then get the media, incorporate them, carry them along, and you see the project will actually move forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So question number 3 is, at the time, I don't think we have a username, but we will find the username. What's your advice to newbies looking to participate in the DeFi space? Which is a little bit probably more technical, but maybe some company you've covered, or I don't know if this is up your wheelhouse, but
No,
maybe you had some advice. Okay.
This is great for me. To participate in the DeFi space, I would just start by getting involved with the sources. The easiest one is going to be Twitter and Telegram. Just getting on those platforms, seeing what projects are putting out the releases, and then just learning. Don't be scared to take baby steps when you're learning. I jumped right into Ethereum head first. I saw all this hype going on, and next thing I knew, a lot of the tokens I was in were down 60-70%. So there is a bit of a learning curve. Just make sure you're jumping in, take like slow steps, and understand what you're investing in. If all you know at the moment is how a stable coin works, maybe stick to that. And when you're venturing out into some of these more risky or other places of DeFi, don't risk more than you can lose, even if it seems like a small amount. At some of these high risk protocols, a small amount can go a lot further than you've ever expected. And it's not worth it to risk and lose something that you're not willing to or unable to. So I think the main thing is just getting involved in these Twitter and Telegram communities. Also, there's tons of good information on YouTube, just how to get started, outlining a lot of the technical jargon and terms. So just looking those up as well.
Yeah, no, something to add on with there. I got involved in cryptocurrency in 2017, and then, that was great, right? And then 2018 hit. But one sound strategy is they say that you should never, invest more than 10% of your portfolio. Nowadays things have changed a little bit, but at the time, because it was only 10% of my portfolio, I didn't sweat it too much when 2018 hit. But it was definitely nice when 2020 happened, because I was like, oh, hey, I still have my crypto, and it's nice to see how everything's changed. But definitely be comfortable with what you have. when you're invested, and be sure you're okay with losing it just in case. But Daniel, did you have anything to add on getting involved with DeFi for noobs?
Yes. I would just like to say you should do proper research. That's one thing. Don't invest, don't get greedy. Because that happened to me. I invested a while. I think that was in 2017 as well. Then with what I gained, I felt like, wow, I could gain more. Then I invested more, and I lost a lot. So one thing I would say is research the project you're going to be investing. Proper research. As Greg already mentioned, Twitter right now is buzzing. Their Telegram group, they are good on Discord also, where you can get information. So make sure you do proper research before you invest, and don't invest more than you're ready to lose. That's always I was telling a friend the other day, whatever you know is going to hurt you if you lose it, don't invest it. Just be comfortable until you're very familiar with the system. Take baby steps. Don't jump to the beginning. Just take baby steps, and in time you'll get very comfortable and you understand the whole system. So that's what I would say. Proper research is what you need as a newbie in the crypto space. Then you'll grow.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. I want to thank Greg Gotsis with BSC News and Solana News. And I want to thank Daniel Abel of Nigerian Tribune, as well as Altcoin Buzz. This has been very informative, and I appreciate all the user questions. I want to tease one thing tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a panel session called How to Pitch Investors and Fundraise for Your Crypto Project. That is actually a workshop presented by the MapleBlock CEO, Vijay Garg. And he has joined us before for a panel, so this will be very informative. But once again, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us. And can't wait to talk to you guys soon about the future of DeFi. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
and we
awesome.
will see you tomorrow. Yes. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Yep.